One-on-one with Scooter Gennett, brought to you by Quick Trip.
All right, I guess we're heading down the home stretch here a little bit here. Do you guys look at standings and all? Like, I mean, you got Pittsburgh coming up here, and maybe, I mean, it would take a pretty good run to catch up to them. But are there those little goals like, man, we're staying ahead of the Reds? Can we make a move, or do you think about that stuff right now?
I mean, it's something that we see. I mean, they have the TVs on in the clubhouse where they show the standings all the time. But, I mean, I don't really think, any team really focuses on that too much, because then you get away from what you actually could control, and that's, the game that day or that pitch, that at bat. So, I mean, the same thing goes for us. Even though we're pretty far out of it right now, we're just trying to play good baseball, and at the end of the year, maybe look back and, see the improvements that we've made, whether that's, maybe moving up in the standings or not, but just the improvements and also the individuals getting better, especially the young guys that we have, myself included, just continuing to get better. And that might give us a positive thing to go into the offseason with, and into spring training next year, is just that improvement that we've made as a team.
You kind of take a special interest, because I remember, I think last year you got out to a rough start and then steadily got better. And you look at like Keon, who I think he got written off after about 2.5 weeks by every fan. Well, that guy's not going to be any good. And you look at what he's been doing. I mean, as somebody that has overcome a tough start, you look at a guy like that and say, wow, that he kept plugging away. He, up and down the minors, all that kind of stuff. The pride, I guess, and a guy like that coming around like he has.
Yeah, it's good to see. I mean, it's everybody was pulling for him when he first came up, because he came into the season 0 for whatever, not getting his first hit. It took him a while to get it here, and basically we've been pulling for him to turn that around and just do what he's done in the minor leagues, just in the big leagues, and it's not easy. When you're a young guy and you don't have a job in the big leagues, it's there's a little, kind of, I wouldn't say pressure, but you're kind of pressing to, earn that spot or earn that opportunity to stay in the big leagues, and it's a tough way to play. Really, you got to trick yourself and basically say in your mind, like, I can hit. It doesn't matter if I don't hit here, I'm going to go back to the minor leagues and I'm going to hit. I'm going to still get my opportunities, and that's what happened with him. He struggled a little bit early on, but he hit once he went down. He came back up, and he's finally had the opportunity to play almost every day. And you just see his numbers continue to get better, and his confidence just continues to grow. So it's very nice to see.
How long does it take where it's for real? Like that, there's guys who get out to bad starts, and then they get a little opportunity and they'll add 15, 20 points their batting average, and then you look at 2 weeks later and it's back down where it was. How long is, all right, he gets it, and maybe you never completely know for sure, but how long is it?
It's hard to really take numbers seriously. You get over the 300, 400 at bat mark, because a couple bad games and then boom, you're right back down. So I would say towards the end of the year, when you're looking at guys and they have 400, 500 at bats, those are pretty accurate numbers. And then when you look at the course of a career, you're looking at maybe like 2,000, 3,000 at bats, to where you're like, okay, this guy's, we can pretty much bank on him doing this every year. We got a guy like Seager that past 5 years, he's hit 20 plus home runs, and his average has been within like 5 points every year. It's like, you can pretty much bet that guy's gonna, have consistent numbers or similar numbers from the year before. So I think it takes a few years in the long run to see what somebody's gonna be able to do every year. And when you're talking about a single season, it's anything over 300 at bats. Because any time before then, a couple bad games, and you'll show up at the game and be like, oh, he was hitting 300 the other day, now he's hitting 250. So it could be a little misleading at that point.
And like you look at a guy like Jimmy Nelson, who a month and a half, 2 months ago, is he a legitimate ace on a staff, then it was, man, he stinks. Like, it was like, neither one is true. I mean, he's like, he may someday be an ace, but it was just like people want to decide what this guy's going to be. I mean, you look at him, he has the stuff to be an ace. But when we make those decisions, do you guys kind of chuckle at that, or everybody has ups and downs, and everybody has way ups and way downs? Talk about that a little bit.
Right. I mean, it's tough when people put a label on you, or people say stuff about you, and you hear it. It's never a good thing if it's not positive. But the good players, the ones that have long careers, they take it. They don't take it too serious. They don't let it get to them. They use it maybe as fuel to get better. But in Jimmy's situation, I mean, early on he got off to a great start. I think it's like a chess game. If I'm facing a pitcher and he struck me out on this pitch, or he's been throwing me a lot of inside pitches and I've been getting myself out by getting jammed or rolling over, next time I face him, I'm going to eliminate that pitch and just swing at pitches away. So it's like there's a chess game going on, and I think that's what happened a little bit with Jimmy. And he's made adjustments. He's made adjustments with his delivery. He's made adjustments with kind of his, how he's attacking most hitters. And I think it's a perfect time for him to make those adjustments and kind of fine-tune some things, to maybe test some things that might work, might not. We're in that situation right now as a team to where it's like we need to get ourselves in the best position to contribute to the team. And it's not like we're out there playing practice games. I mean, we're competing and we're trying to win each game, but we're trying to prepare ourselves not only for the end of this season, but also the start of next season, and to where we know what works, what doesn't work, how we can help the team the best, and roll with that for 162 games. And I think that's what Jimmy's been doing. And I mean, for a guy that started out really good and then has changed some things, and you still look up and he's got good numbers for the big leagues, good numbers for the stadium. It's pretty impressive. I mean, it'd be like me going up and trying to hit right-handed and being like, oh, this might work, and I'm still hitting over 270. It's like, wow, it's pretty cool how he's been able to do that. So, I think it sucks sometimes when people don't have good things to say about you, but good baseball guys, good baseball people that know the game, they can see what is really there, and like you said, he's got the stuff to be an ace. So it's only a matter of time when he finds out what works best for him and rolls with that for a full season.
I mean, I was just back there looking for you, not that you were late or anything, but we'll talk about baseballs on the TV. There are days when you wish something else was on that you weren't watching. I mean, I know you love baseball, but some clubhouses do better because they're watching Golden Girls or something like that, reruns or something like that. How do you break it up so it's not baseball, and you get sick of baseball?
Yeah, there's some guys that, you've seen the commercials, like the Harold Wendell ones about Adam Jones, and Anthony Rizzo, when they're watching baseball all the time. There's guys that like to do that and like to watch the game all the time, and then there's guys that don't want to see any highlights. They don't want to see anything. So it differs, and that's why we have multiple TVs in the clubhouse. It used to be, in the minor leagues especially, you just got one. So it's like if baseball's on and you don't want to see it, you got to take yourself out of the room. But we have multiple TVs, so we'll have golf or movies going on, or MLB Network. So it all depends. Whatever you're in the mood for, you can kind of gravitate towards that TV. But to be honest, I mean, when we get to the ballpark, the players that seem to have had long careers, or guys that are locked in, there's really not a whole lot of watching TV. I mean, it's work time, and the only time I really watch TV is when I'm eating food in the kitchen, and the TV's right there. So It differs though, person to person and team to team. I mean, I've only played for this team, so I can't really speak for all the other ones.
What would we be surprised that you would like to watch? Are you we know baseball, yeah, but there's got to be something that just is either stupid or scary or whatever. What do you watch?
Honestly, I like all kinds of movies. I'm a big movie guy. I've seen a lot of movies. I've seen almost every movie on Netflix. So now I'm kind of gravitating more towards the shows, TV shows. One of my favorites is Sons of Anarchy. I'm on Hell on Wheels now, which is really cool because it's got some of the old school, well, it's all old school stuff. Yeah. It's about when they build the railroad from the East Coast to the West Coast. And it's right after the Civil War, so there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff I've learned watching it. And, there's also some Christianity tied into the whole thing, and in a place that is like not where you would want to be. So I mean, those type of shows and movies is what I like, and most of them are kind of like old school. It's almost like I was born in the wrong generation. But no, I like all kinds of stuff. But I would say, yeah, I enjoy the old school movies the best, the westerns and stuff like that.
We were kind of open for superhero shows since we're the CW and we have the Flash and Supergirl and all that. But
I like those too. I watched Arrow and all them. Yeah, they're pretty cool, but they're not. I don't want to ruin it for some kids, but they're not real. I like the real stuff.
Let me ask you about some of the real stuff here, because you guys got to do little drills and things like that to keep yourself sharp. Mm-hmm. Which ones do you have to kind of convince yourself to do? Because you could step up and take BP and probably hit line drives all day and not really be working on anything. And there's things, and you can have bad habits and you're athletic enough to take the ground ball off the hip and all that. What do you have to talk yourself into doing maybe this time of year where you don't need to work on it, but you keep working on it because eventually it pays off?
I mean, I think it's huge to have a routine, and sometimes, like especially this late in the season, you got a routine, and then it's like, I mean, man, I don't feel like I need this, but it's like you push yourself to do that because that's your routine. That's what has got you to a certain level. That's what's got you locked in for that game. So I would say just kind of pushing yourself to keep doing that routine. I mean, there's times where, I'll take 7-8 ground balls and then I'll kind of do one where it's like, I want to have some fun with this one to kind of spice it up a little bit. Because it can get a little boring when you just do the same thing over and over again. So there's some times to mix it up and have some fun. But, I mean, that routine, that pregame ritual, if you want to call it that, is huge. And, when you get away from that, it's just, in my experience, it's just not good. Nothing great comes from it. A guy might be like, oh, it's my stance, and then lower his hands and then hit a home run and then think like, okay, I got it all figured out, and then go in a 20 at-bat slump. And it's like, that might have been the worst thing that could have happened. So I think sticking with the same routine and the pregame work is huge, and sometimes you got to push yourself to do that.
Did somebody teach you that a little bit, that maybe you watched? Like, I remember back a long time ago, we had to sit and wait for Carlton Fisk when I was in college waiting for an interview because he had a 2-hour post-game workout after catching 9 innings, or he had an hour before. Guys that had to do the same thing over and over, and it does pay off. But like you mentioned, it can get a little dull when you could probably get away with giving up part of your routine.
There's definitely some guys. I mean, if your intention is to get better and to be the best that you can be, you're going to take things from people. You're going to learn things. I mean, I've learned from pretty much everybody I've came across, whether that's good or bad. Through the minor leagues, it's like something like maybe 3 guys on each team will play in the big leagues, and maybe 1 or 2 will actually stick. Or maybe even less than that, and it's like, why is that? Everybody can hit the ball over the fence, pretty much. Everybody's got that ability. Everybody's got the ability to field the ball and throw it to first base. Everybody's got the ability to score from second to home, and it's just like, what separates everybody? And that was huge for me to kind of figure that out. And basically it was like, I'm just not going to do what everybody else is doing, because most of everybody else isn't going to make it to the big leagues. So it was like, how do I not gravitate towards the normal and do what I feel like I need to do to get better and kind of be different? And that's what I've noticed out of everybody here in the big leagues, is everybody's got their own different routine that works for them. And it's not like 8 guys at once go into the cage and hit together. It's just not how things work. I mean, pitchers, you'll see guys like right now, there's certain guys running, there's guys doing different things. It's like, that's what they've done, that's what they've learned that works for them, and that's why they're still here in the big leagues. The guys that just try to like go into the normal flow of like what everybody's doing, and it just, you're not going to really be all that you could be by doing what everybody else is doing in anything in life. So that's one thing that I've learned, and I've learned it from numerous people, but I've kind of had that just growing up too, just with my dad, and working since I was 5 years old on stuff, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for all the people that have helped me out through basically the minor leagues and in the big leagues.
Is it tough with all the new guys bouncing in and out to formulate a good fantasy football league within the team?
No, we have a good league president, or whatever you call him, the chairman,
commissioner, something like that.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's we have a good one.
Yeah.
It's Joe Crawford, he catches the first pitch. He's jack all trades. He throws BP, hits fungo, video guy. I mean, he does it all. And he's legit. So he stays in contact with guys that come and go. Yeah. We make sure everybody pays. That's the big thing, is getting the payment up front. So then you don't have to go run around and track down people. But no, it's a lot of fun, and the coming and going, that's the thing. I mean, you create relationships with people. We get an email with the itinerary when we go on the road, and it has everybody's email on it. So we could, if we want to keep in contact with somebody that was just up for one day, we can always email them, get their number. So there's a lot of ways to get stuff done.
You can't let somebody that's not here anymore win this league now. Is there a little more motivation that, I don't know if Lucroy was in the league or if Jeffress was in the league? You can't let one of those guys be the champion this year.
I mean, you definitely don't want to.
Yeah.
But the good advantage is normally, since we haven't had our draft yet, if they are in our league, they're probably in whatever team's league that they're on now. So maybe their main focus will be on that league rather than the team that they're not on. So, there is a leg up there, but yeah, you never want to lose to a guy that's not on the team anymore. I mean, that's just way more bragging rights for him.
Who's your number one pick? If you're in the top 5, like who you zoned in on in your fantasy draft?
I mean, you can't really go wrong with like Gronk or those type of guys. For me, like tight ends,
guy.
Yeah, like tight ends are just solid.
Yeah.
You get a tight end with the same quarterback, and it's just like,
it's a dream.
It's a good setup.
Yeah.
I'm not a guy that goes after like the wide receiver that might get hurt after the first week or something like that. Tight ends are pretty safe. They're big. They play with broken arms. They do it all. So probably go with the tight end.
And finally, what's the goal, I guess, for the rest of the year for you? You're right now at 265. You seem like you're a 280 hitter, 290, maybe more after that. What's if you're able to climb to a certain level, you feel like, man, I had a strong finish to the year.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. That's the goal for all of us, is to finish strong, finish healthy. For me personally, it's about. I still haven't found, like, I know that I can put the bat on the ball. I know I can hit line drives to left. I got some power to right. And I think as I grow, as I mature, I actually have a little bit more power to center, left center too. So for me, it's kind of figuring out what works and what's going to work for a really long time. And that's kind of my goal now. I mean, I'm in a situation with arbitration next year to where, I mean, if I finish strong, that could really help me and my family out and my future kids and stuff. But I'm also in a situation where I need to make sure that I know what works best and what's going to help the team win, because that's ultimately what's going to keep me in the big leagues. And, you know, so I'm not really playing for, you know, to hit ground ball, you know, choppers and just get the highest average I can. I'm playing so I can know going into this offseason what I'm going to go with, you know, for spring training and next season. And that's the goal. And I think if I find that out, which I think I already have the past few games, and that's just kind of where I was in the beginning of the year, was just being super relaxed and just swinging at strikes, period, until I get to 2 strikes. Then you just don't strike out. Keeping it simple that way. I got away from that a little bit. I think with the oblique, I came back and just wasn't right for a little bit. My swing wasn't right. A little, some bad habits were formed because I was kind of like just worried about that. So now that I'm back to where I was in the beginning of the year and just being super relaxed and just trying to swing at strikes, I think that's the play, and that's the goal, is to just ride that out, see if it works, which I think it will, and, you know, just stay healthy. I think, you know, that's the biggest thing, is knowing that the team can depend on you for a full season. And, you know, if I finish strong and show them that I was, you know, I got back to where I was in the beginning of the year, I think that's, you know, that's going to help me out when it comes to having a job next year and, you know, down the road. So that's my goal, is just to, you know, stick with what I'm doing now, see if it works, see if it doesn't, and, you know, stay healthy and finish the year hopefully better than I'm doing now.
You want to whisper, "Psst, Craig, I'll play third, first, short," because your value, if you can play left field or all that kind of stuff, can shoot through the roof if you're a guy that hits like you hit and keep improving. Any temptation is like, "Hey, I'll go out in left field, see if he notices"?
I mean, it hasn't reached that point yet. I mean, if, you know, we get Robinson Cano in a trade, you know, then, you know, there's going to be some adjustments that are going to be needed to make. But, you know, I'm not really in that situation yet. But I mean, they know that, you know, I'm pretty athletic. I've played short. I've played center. I mean, they know that I can do some other things. They haven't approached me about any of those yet. So I think that, you know, if need be, if that's an option, I think that they'll let me know and tell me, and, you know, we'll have a nice little talk about it. But not in that situation right now, and but you never know. Anything can happen in this game.